and welcome to Otterwood Cottage, our beautiful small holding in the heart of the Lincolnshire countryside. I'm Emma and we're delighted to have you along with us. Today is New Year's Day and it has become a tradition in our house that we plant our peppers and chillies on New Year's Day. So I thought we'd bring you along with us to do that today. And I am going to talk you through all of the varieties of chillies, peppers, and actually there's a couple of other bits and pieces in here as well that we're going to be planting today. I know that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be walked through the exact varieties that people are planting. So if that isn't your bag, then don't worry about watching this video. But for those of you who do like knowing, a bit like me, I always love knowing what everyone else is planting and I like to know the exact varieties. So if that's you, this is the video for you. This is our New Year's Day planting video, and I will put any videos like this where I'm talking through varieties into a separate playlist, kind of seeds and sowing playlist, so that if you're interested in that kind of thing you can watch, and if you prefer not to, then of course you can just skip on by and come back to the next video. I'm hoping I can get, I've got quite a bunch of things to sow today. I'm going to focus on the chillies and the peppers, and then there are some other items. I'm really low on seed compost, so I may not actually be able to get all of these planted today. I always use a brand of seed compost called Pete's Peat Free. It's one that was originally recommended by Charles Dowding, and I've used it every year since we've been kind of growing on any kind of scale, and never had a problem with it and absolutely loved it. It is quite expensive, I will say that up front. It's a more expensive potting compost, seed compost, but we get such high germination rates with it that we've decided it's kind of worth the spend. We don't really spend out a lot on other types of compost for the garden, so that's where we do invest the money. I've got a tiny bit of Pete's Peat Free left from last year, but with the move and everything else that's been going on, I managed to miss the boat and they are completely sold out. I'm really sad about it. So they're completely sold out. No Pete's Peat Free compost available. I will keep a very close eye on their website to see if it comes back in stock and try and order up. And I also haven't organised myself before New Year to buy any other brand and get that here in time. So I'm going to use what I've got. I'll plant what I can, but I will share all of the varieties that I would have been planting had I not been so short on seed compost. So for the first year ever, I'm going to be growing in a conservatory, which I've not had the privilege of being able to do before. I do want to caveat this video. I will at the end show you the setup in here. It's obviously the first time we've set up in this house, and so it may evolve over time, but we think we've got it right for this time. But I do want to caveat showing you that later with the fact that I do recognise how incredibly privileged we are to be able to grow in a space like this greenhouse area that's bringing in as much light as it does. But to say that the setup I've got in here is all stuff we brought with us from our last house, which we had in a loft space with one tiny little Velux window. Barely any light came through, and that's why we've got the grow lights. We used the grow lights and had fantastic results. So I really do recognise the privilege of having a conservatory space to grow in, but it is possible to do everything I'm doing here without a conservatory, because I have done that in the past, have done it for many years and had really good success. So the varieties that we are growing, I will try and flash them up on the screen as well, because it's not very easy, I know, to read. I'll show you the packets, but there's no pictures, and it might not be very easy to read. So I will try and flash the names up on the screen as well. And please forgive any horrendous pronunciations of any of these. So I've got 4 main categories that we're planting: sweet peppers, chili peppers, aubergine, and then 3 kind of just random additionals. So starting with the sweet peppers, the varieties we've gone for this year are Zitavia paprika pepper, which is a sweet pepper; Sweet Spirals long ram's horn sweet pepper; an Amy sweet wax pepper, and my sister is called Amy and my nan was called Amy, so that's why I was drawn to those; and organic lipstick early sweet pepper. So there are 4 varieties of sweet pepper that we're growing this year. I've also got 4 varieties of chili pepper: Pretty in Purple rainbow chili pepper, Prairie Fire mini bush chili pepper, early jalapeno hot pepper, and an organic padron chili pepper. And we do love padron peppers. They were the ones I think I said in a previous video that are scaring me a little bit, because it says on the packet they're the Russian roulette chilies, 1 in 10 on the same plant, are crazy hot. We don't love crazy hot in this house, so we may regret those, but we do love padron peppers normally. Our aubergines, and I won't prioritise these today, so if I do run out of seed compost, I'm going to focus on the sweet peppers and the chili peppers. The aubergines can stand to wait a little bit later, but whilst I'm doing a what we're planting in January video, I'll show you them. It may well be that they actually get planted a bit later on in the month. So I've got 3 varieties of aubergine this year. I've had really mixed results with aubergines. Some years I do brilliantly, some years they just don't seem to come to anything. Last year they got absolutely decimated by slugs when they were tiny and didn't get any to grow, and then I replanted, managed to get some to grow, but every fruit we had from them, we had quite a lot of fruits, but every single fruit we got when we picked it, there were slug damage to each and every one of them, so we didn't get to eat any aubergine last year, which was really disappointing. So the 3 types we have this year are Black Beauty aubergine, Organic Diamond aubergine, and Tech Early aubergine. And then the 3 additional random things that we are planting in January are yellow Rinsberger long-keeping onions, oregano, and the variety is Oreganum vulgare. That one is from Chilton Seeds, all the others are from Real Seeds. And then the final one is saved seed, and these are sweet peas that our lovely friends bought me for my 40th birthday. I'm 44 in next month, so this is my 3rd year of saving seeds from those. So these are sweet peas from the Hollingsworths. So these are the Hollingsworth sweet peas, saved seed, 3rd year in a row, and they produce really beautiful blooms. So that's our planting for January. I'm going to get on with that, and in a little while I will show you my setup. Fab. So I have enough of the compost to plant the sweet peppers, chili peppers, and the aubergines. I'm going to save the sweet peas, the onions, and the oregano for another day when I've either found another brand or managed to get hold of some more of this. So I use wooden lollipop sticks as my markers, and the reason I do that is because no matter how hard I try, I am completely useless, and I always end up losing these in the soil when I plant things out or when I'm moving things from one place to the other. I start off with the very best of intentions every year to be really clear with my labelling, and inevitably I end up losing the labels. And if they are plastic ones, well, you can get some really lovely plant labels, and I've been given some slate ones as gifts, which I do use. But for seedlings and things that are going to get moved around quite a lot, these work really well for me. These ones clearly have seen better days, but they have been used year on year. I really need to order some more. This is 3 years now of using the same lolly sticks. But they work well for me, and when they do inevitably get lost in the ground, at least I don't feel guilty because I know that they will eventually decompose. So that's me. I'm going to sow 6 of each variety, so each one of these rows will be a different variety. I'm not sure what the germination is going to be like because this is old compost from last year. I'm hoping we'll get 3 or 4 plants from each minimum, which would be more than enough for our needs. We're only growing for our family, and particularly the chili peppers. We like a small amount of chili, but not tons of it. So 6 plants is probably too many, and when they start to need potting on, I'm probably going to regret. If we get high germination rates, I'm probably going to regret 6 plants. But that's what I'm starting with for each of them, and we'll see how we go. Now, because these are from real seeds, which means they are heirloom varieties, not F1s, so they are true to seed. If you save your seed, theoretically I could save seed from all of these peppers and aubergines. I haven't done in the past because they can cross-pollinate one another. So unlike tomatoes, which I do save seed from every single year, and haven't bought tomato seed in 4 years now, they don't cross-pollinate, so they stay true. But the peppers, and particularly if you've got sweet peppers and chili peppers, if they start cross-pollinating, you could end up with all kinds of crazy. And we haven't had the space to keep them separate. So in order to be sure that you're saving true seed, you need to keep your variety isolated from other peppers. And we just haven't had the space to do that. We probably do have the space to do that this year if we were more organised. I could be setting up a separate cold frame and separate warm area outside. But with 4 different varieties of each, four varieties of sweet pepper, 4 varieties of chili pepper, even if we were just to try and keep the peppers separate, that's having to find 8 separate places. I suppose what I could do is rotate year on year and just have an area where I could keep 1 or 2 separate. So we might think about doing that, but I think realistically that's probably not going to happen this year. We're not organised enough to do that for this growing season. But in future, I would like to start to try and save more seed. We love doing it with tomato. It works really well for us. So hopefully in future we can do it for other vegetables and fruits as well. But for now, we're really happy just to buy our seeds year on year, although you will have just seen I've not even used half the seeds in that pack. And what I have found with seeds from real seeds is that the germination rates stay pretty good. That's been our experience. The germination rates stay pretty good year on year, even if we're using old seed. This happens to be new seed this year because we ran out last year, but that's the only reason. But I will not need to buy chili or sweet pepper seeds next year because I've got plenty to be able to plant again, assuming the germination rates are decent this year. It's not really a fair test, unfortunately, this year because I'm not using fresh compost, but we'll see how it goes. So this is the little setup we've got in the conservatory, which is more or less exactly the same setup we had in our last house, which was in the eaves with no light coming in. So we are super lucky and really fortunate to be in this conservatory space, which will give us lots of light. And that is a real privilege, but with the grow lights that you can see hanging there, this is the exact same setup we had in a room with almost no light. So the way we have it set up is we have a little bit of heat underneath here, and I did think 2 or 3 times about whether I should tell you this because obviously you should never use anything for anything other than the purpose for which it was designed, and this very much isn't designed for that. So this is not a suggestion, please don't try this at home, but what we have under here is because we're basically too cheap to buy proper heat mats because they're extortionate, that is a bed warming mat, which is significantly cheaper and is double sized. You can get king size ones depending on how much space, or singles, and gives just enough bottom heat to keep things warm and to get things going. And then we've covered it with a wipeable waterproof tablecloth to keep it safe from any water that might trickle through from watering these. So we have our seedlings here. Now, last year we got to the stage where we had 2 tables of this side loaded up with plants once we'd potted on and planted everything we did before the last frost, sorry, had finished. We're not going to be able to fit another table in here, but what I think we probably will be able to get away with, because when it comes time to needing that extra space, the days should be a little bit longer and we should be getting more light in through the conservatory space, is with some shuffling of all our plants and pots along here, we can probably make do with the space that we've got along the windowsill as well. And then these grow lights, I bought one 2 years ago and loved it so much that last year I got a second one. As I said, we did have 2 separate tables set up last year. I don't think we're going to need to do that because the grow lights were compensating for the fact that everything was in a room with no light last year. For this year, the grow lights are only going to be used for, well, the day's too short and the seedlings won't be getting enough light even in this conservatory space. But once the days get a bit longer, we won't need the grow lights in here anymore. They're a bit, we've had to go a bit Heath Robinson with these to get them to hang together because we've only got one space to hang them from, and needed them to kind of hang next to each other, but hopefully that will hold. So that's our little setup. We know we're really fortunate to have this space. I'm really excited to see how things grow in here this year. And I think that's probably everything to share. So thanks for watching. If you stuck with me for this one, thanks very much, and I will see you soon.